The first season of The Lincoln Lawyer is now available on Netflix, with 10 fast-paced episodes that are likely to captivate viewers. Mickey Haller is a lawyer who hasn't been in a courtroom in over a year due to an accident. He obtains all of his practice, including the Trevor Elliott murder trial, after one of his colleagues dies. Haller spends weeks attempting to defend Trevor in order to win the case. Haller ultimately proves Whitey is one of the finest by winning the case in the 9th episode. However, things became much more intense after Haller learned that Trevor may have been the perpetrator. Before becoming unconscious, he is attacked by an unknown man. Mickey Haller is dealt with as a loose thread in episode 10 of The Lincoln Lawyer, as he wrestles with McSweeney in the limelight of the car headlights. Thankfully, Griggs and his officers arrive and break up the fight. McSweeney, on the other hand, falls to his death from the cliff's edge. Griggs now understands what's going on. McSweeney was paid to assassinate Lara and Jan by Trevor Elliott. He's also the 7th juror, who went missing earlier in the season. However, given that we still don't know who killed Jerry in the parking lot, not everything is falling into place. Gloria arrives at the workplace and says she requires police protection. Linda Perez, a vice officer, showed up to her door and threatened to ruin her life if she testified for Mickey. Glory fled not because of Menendez, but because of this unscrupulous cop. Mickey informs Griggs of the news, pointing out that Perez has already been rejected a promotion twice, and that he suspects Officer Winters had her scare off his witness so she wouldn't testify. Griggs refuses to investigate, instead sending Mickey to see Trevor Elliott, who has a huge announcement to make. He's ready to speak to the press about the next stage of the Parallax Games when Carol Dubois appears and shoots him 3 times. As a result of this, Mickey believes Trevor did murder Jerry and that he wasn't lying when he stated he didn't care. In the midst of it all, there's further drama surrounding Harold Casey, the biker, who hasn't been charged for recent Chevalier work. Cisco decides to pay a personal visit to Casey, who confirms that Mickey was covering for him as a favor. Cisco refuses to let this go on any longer, reminding him that any obligation owed to him may be paid via him. He wants Mickey to stay out of it and not be a part of their feud. Maggie learns from Langford that the audio of Soto's confession is distorted and cannot be utilized in the middle of this. Maggie feels confident in her ability to deliver a positive outcome for her client, but Mickey is skeptical. Anyway, Glory takes the stand in court and testifies about Linda Perez and her animosity against her. So we're back to the Menendez case for now. Linda then takes the stand, where footage shows her on a service elevator on her way to Glory's room. This is a stark contradiction to Linda's prior declaration, and the judge punishes her severely for it. Anyway, Perez mentions that Langford was involved and that she made a deal with him. When he finds out, he is furious and can barely control his rage in court. Maddie visits Mickey later that evening and informs him that she has packed everything into her case. She built her entire case around Langford's testimony, but it's now worthless and useless against Soto. Mickey retaliates, stating he had no idea Langford was involved. Maddie admits she can't get past this and doubts they'll be able to get back together after their dispute. Soto is set to walk free now that the Soto case has been closed. Even worse, Maddie will be fired from her job. Everything appears to be going wrong when she arrives in court to learn that Soto has been declared not guilty. Sarah Walker, an assistant U.S. attorney, emerges out of nowhere and immediately arrests Soto for human trafficking and conspiracy. The feds have him now, and thanks to Maggie's connections, it appears like he will be apprehended. Mickey returns to Mary Holder, who wishes him well and wishes him luck in the future. Mickey still has one more card to play. Mickey had been thinking about who might be able to do that after being summoned for jury duty earlier in the season. Perhaps someone like Judge Holder. Mickey himself planted the anonymous note addressed to Judge Stanton. McSweeney vanished the day after he sent it. This was a hoax to see how far he could go before realizing Holder was the one who had McSweeney try to kill him, as well as hired a sketchy PI business to bug his automobile. Holder threatens to kill him if he tells anyone, but Mickey's story is quite solid. He and Cisco had done their homework and discovered that McSweeney was a past client of Holder's husband. This gave the feds reason to wiretap her, and with Griggs' cooperation, they had more than enough evidence to apprehend her and bring her to justice. So the season comes to a close with Maggie quitting her office, Cisco moving away on his bike, Lorna and her pug applying for law school, and Mickey returning to surfing. However, a man in black with a tattoo on his left arm is watching him from the shore. One final shock brings the show's otherwise chaotic final chapter to a close. I honestly believe that every odd case in this series should have been dropped entirely in favor of focusing solely on the Trevor Elliott murder case, which is by far the most intriguing aspect of the show. Everything involving Soto, Cisco, and Menendez ends up feeling rushed and underdeveloped. Furthermore, characters like Lorna and Cisco come across as one-note cliches with little to build on. What is the major agreement that Cisco has made with Casey? I guess we'll have to wait, but these kinds of nagging issues are left unanswered at the end of this chapter as sequel bait. There is, however, a case to be made for renewing this one. This one has settled into a more constant rhythm after a rough start. Episodes 8 and 9 are likely the greatest of the group, owing to the fact that the show has been virtually entirely focused on the Elliott case. However, The Lincoln Lawyer isn't a horrible show, and there's enough here to fuel your hunger for more.